Jealous people always say these words, and how to stop being jealous. Have you ever noticed people around you say things that just feel off? What if I told you those words might actually reveal something darker, something most people never recognize about jealousy? The truth is, some of the quietest, almost invisible behaviors can signal that someone is envious, and if you miss them, they can silently affect your life. According to psychologists and centuries of observation, envy, or jealousy, is more than a fleeting feeling. It's a sadness at another person's blessings, a quiet comparison that can consume someone entirely. From the story of King Saul and David in the Bible, to modern studies on human behavior, experts say recognizing envy is the first step toward protecting your peace and understanding how others project their limitations onto you. Today, you'll discover 8 signs that reveal someone's envy. And trust me, sign number 8 will expose the silent ways people try to compete without you even realizing it. By the end of this video, you'll not only recognize these behaviors, but also learn how to rise above envy and jealousy so their projections don't dim your light. Before we begin, if you find this interesting, make sure you subscribe so you never miss insights about human behavior, subtle envy, and how to protect your peace. Sign 1. They undermine you in subtle ways. This sign happens when someone seems supportive on the surface but slips in subtle criticism or backhanded compliments. You'll notice it in forced smiles, slight eye rolls, or a tone that just doesn't match their words. It makes you feel uneasy, questioning if you're overreacting or imagining things. Psychologists say this happens because envy makes people want to diminish what you've achieved without openly confronting it. For example, someone may say, "Wow, you got promoted. I didn't expect that," with a hint of disdain or hesitation that undermines your accomplishment. Sign 2. They compare constantly. This sign happens when someone always measures themselves against you, whether in achievements, possessions, or social status. You'll notice it because every story they share is somehow a veiled attempt to outdo or match you. It makes you feel like nothing you do is ever enough or fully celebrated. Psychologists say this happens because the envious person has an attitude of scarcity, seeing your success as a threat rather than celebrating their own blessings. For example, when you share a personal win, they immediately follow with, "Well, I did something even bigger last week," turning your joy into comparison. Sign 3. They minimize your success. This sign happens when people act indifferent to your achievements or downplay them. You'll notice it because they rarely congratulate you sincerely or shift the conversation away from your accomplishments. It makes you feel invisible or undervalued despite your hard work. Psychologists say this is a defense mechanism. They minimize your light to avoid feeling inadequate themselves. For example, when you get a new job, they respond, "It's not that hard, anyone could do it," dismissing your effort. Sign 4. They imitate without credit. This sign happens when someone starts copying your style, ideas, or habits without acknowledgement. You'll notice it because they suddenly appear in your niche or social circle doing things you pioneered. It makes you feel frustrated, like your originality is being stolen. Psychologists say imitation is envy disguised as flattery. They crave what you have but fear recognition for it. For example, someone replicates your social media content or business idea but never mentions your influence. If this is helping you understand how envy shows up, consider subscribing or supporting the channel so you can recognize these behaviors before they affect your peace. Sign 5. They compete in silence. This sign happens when someone tries to outperform you quietly, never openly acknowledging the competition. You'll notice it because they suddenly excel in areas you previously dominated, often without recognition or fanfare. It makes you feel confused and slightly paranoid, wondering if you missed something. Psychologists say this is a covert way of asserting superiority without confrontation. For example, they achieve a milestone similar to yours but never mention your prior accomplishment, acting like they arrived first. Sign 6. They only appear when you struggle. This sign happens when people show up or offer support, primarily when things go wrong for you. You'll notice it because they're absent during your victories and suddenly present during failures. It makes you feel alone and that even support carries hidden motives. Psychologists explain this is an expression of schadenfreude, a secret pleasure in another's difficulties. For example, when you face criticism at work, they pop in with unsolicited advice, subtly highlighting your mistakes. Sign 7. They misinterpret your awareness as arrogance. This sign happens when someone flips your confidence or observation into a critique of your character. You'll notice it because they accuse you of thinking too highly of yourself, simply for acknowledging your skills or accomplishments. It makes you feel misunderstood and questioned about your intentions. Psychologists say this happens because envious people project their insecurities onto others. For example, noticing your effort and progress, they comment, "You've changed. You act like you're better than everyone else," when in reality you're just self-aware. Sign 8, the most powerful one. Their silence reveals their envy. This sign happens when someone's envy doesn't manifest in words, but in their absence or lack of celebration. This one is powerful because it shows that even without confrontation, envy shapes behavior. You'll notice it because they don't clap, acknowledge milestones, or celebrate your success. It makes you feel isolated, unsure who genuinely supports you. Psychologists say this happens because energy never lies. Some people are too busy calculating, tracing your steps, or longing for shortcuts to your journey. For example, you achieve something monumental, and while others cheer, they remain silent, avoiding both acknowledgement and engagement. How to overcome jealousy. The remedy for envy. Envy isn't just a harmless feeling. It can quietly consume a person if left unchecked. But the truth is, there's a way to free yourself from it. Gratitude. Take a moment each day to acknowledge your blessings. Even small things, your health, relationships, skills, remind you that abundance exists in your life. So if you find yourself being an envious person, I would say take a moment, stop, and actually count your blessings. If King Saul had done that, yeah, my thousands, David, his tens of thousands, but that doesn't take away from my thousands. Grace. Recognize that someone else's success doesn't lessen your worth. You are enough exactly as you are. The remedy for envy isn't about willpower or writing out a list, it's about grace. I'm afraid that I'm less because you are more. I need to go to a place where I can be reminded of my goodness. Place yourself under the gaze of the Father of the entire universe. Connect with a higher sense of purpose or intrinsic worth. When you feel truly seen and claimed as valuable, the pull of jealousy weakens. More than gratitude, the remedy for envy is placing yourself under the gaze of the Father of the whole universe. Place yourself in his presence and let him look upon you, the gaze that raises you up, saying, "I claim you as my son, I claim you as my daughter. I give my only begotten son as a ransom for you. This is what you are worth." Example: when a friend gets a promotion or achieves something you've been striving for, instead of sadness, acknowledge your blessings, know your value, and celebrate them without envy. Your worth is confirmed from within, not by comparison. At the end of the day, envy is often hidden in everyday interactions, in words, glances, and micro-behaviors. The real truth is that their jealousy reflects their own scarcity, not your worth. Once you recognize these signs, you can protect your peace, remain grateful for your blessings, and rise above silent competition without needing their validation. So if you know someone dealing with jealousy from others, or someone who is struggling to stop feeling jealous, share this video. Take care of yourself and thank you for watching. Also, YouTube thinks you will like this next video. Check it out and see if they are right.